Good evening from the Kingdom of Balance. This is our 44th session going through the Bundle for Racial Justice and Equality. Today we have 3 games. We're running a little late. I'll try to get through them quickly. So the first up we have Astrologaster by Nyam Yam. The second one is The Tail Makes the Fox by Rhineworks. And the last game is 3 Lesbians and a Barrow by Digital Poppy. So I'm gonna do just 25 minutes per game today. Then it will be, be done by 10 or so in a couple hours. So the first we're gonna go into the first game, Astrologaster by Nyam Yam. I have no idea what this game is about. I couldn't really figure it out based on the description or the intro screen. I haven't played the game yet, as just like any other game on this bundle. So I'm going to be discovering along with all of you. So I'm just starting that up now. So this one is Astrologaster by Nyam Yam. And this is a link to their profile. I'm going to paste it in the chat, so if you want to check it out, you can click on that. Still loading. I know the 2 last games in today's session is gonna be visual novels, but I'm not sure what the first one is. It could be a visual novel as well. Then in that case, all of today's session is gonna be visual novels. Yeah, Astrologaster. A few points I was thinking it's Astrologaster, but no, that's a G. The sound isn't very high, right? You can't really hear it. I'm going to see if I can turn it up. Oh, yeah, you can. Okay. Put it on 80, 90, 80. This sounds like I'm not sure. This music, I'm not sure if it's gonna be flagged on YouTube as for copyright claim. But that might happen. That's been happening a lot with games nowadays. Yeah. Sure how many people are watching right now. Yeah, I'm just checking something, and I'll be starting it any second now. No idea there. Okay. New game. What?
Long ago in England, in 1519, there is a tale, and all it is true. Through all around the great land, coming for the souls as a living out dead.
What? Okay, this is not something I expected. Okay, there's like a song and What is this? Oh, okay. What is this? Letters of recommendation. Huh, okay. Drag left to turn page. Okay, it's a pop-up book of some sort. Yeah, that's so cool. Okay. Ooh, the sound.
But what will the doctor say when all the cows fled? Might not have been because he was too sick to leave.
Simon Foreman. It's okay. Can he do something there? No. Just this.
Alas, 'tis my final hour. I will surely die. I am too far gone to recover, and for the plague there is no cure. Unless a cure might be found in the stars.
In the stars? Okay. Choose one zodiac to diagnose the condition. How might I be cured of the plague? Using Sagittarius? Or, well, that seems to be the only option right now. Let's see, how do we use Sagittarius to cure the plague? Should Foreman use this reading? I have the plague, characterized by loss of appetite, immoderate thirst, and pus-filled swellings behind the ears, in the armpits and the groin. These are symptoms of a fever provoked by excess sanguinity in the liver. Interesting. Sagittarius, the ruler of the liver. Jupiter domiciles in Sagittarius. This indicates a severe imbalance of the blood humor. What is that? What is that? Okay. I don't I can only accept or reject this. Well, since Sagittarius is the ruler of the liver, and there's something in the liver, this might be a likely one. Let's try it. I chose Sagittarius.
Let me see now. According to the stars, the way to cure the plague is to treat the fever it provokes. Oh, can it be true? Might a disease so monstrous as the plague be cured by treating it as if it were an exceeding bad fever? Then I must use powerful herbs to bring the fever to crisis and break it. Let me see now. Angelica and dandelion for heat, borage to provoke sweating, infuse them in wine, strain and distill the mixture to produce a most powerful strong water.
Wow, that didn't sound good. Oh.
I am cured. I shall now go forth with my miraculous strong water to cure all London of the plague.
Okay. That was fast. Quarrance, Simon Foreman, scene 13th October, 1592 at 1600. How might I be cured of the plague? I judged my plague symptoms to be provoked by a fever. I invented a new kind of strong water to cure it. Okay. Hey, Shelly. This game is weird. And it's interesting and weird. Letter of recommendation, huh? So this is basically a pop-up book. And you're flipping through the pages to get, more of the story. And it came with songs And it's about the bubonic plague and how this guy, Simon, what was it? Simon Foreman? He was trying to use the stars, so the zodiac signs, to cure the plague. So he got inspired by Sagittarius. I had to pick whether to use Sagittarius or not to use it. But since it was related to the liver, anyway. This querent will return for another consultation. See case summary, or I shall cure wonders of the plague, so wonders will be my work. The plays and songs will be writ in my honor. Okay. Case summary is that he figured out that the fever needs to be burned through in order to cure the plague. Okay, let's see what happens next. Okay.
I think they're taking
Here comes a lady queer and turning to weary. Her name is Lady Allen. What can her trouble be?
God give you good day, madam. How may I?
Are you Mr. Foreman? Mr. Simon Foreman, the doctor?
Aye, madam. I am indeed Dr. Simon Foreman. I bid you welcome to my consulting chambers. Mistress
Allen, Mistress Avis Allen of Lambeth.
Pray tell me your age, if you please, madam.
I am 33 years of age.
And how might I do you service this day, Mistress Allen? Pray describe your troubles to me.
Well, the pain started full late last eve upon retiring to bed. Oh, not that I am in the habit of retiring so late, but my husband did desire a special supper of cold meats to celebrate and give thanks in any case, it started in the night and it continued until dawning. That being the pain in my head and the chundering.
A moment whilst I make note of this. Headache and involuntary purging. Is that all?
Aye, that is all. And thinking on it, my complaint to seem most trifling. And you are doubtless busy with important cases. Oh, like the plague! Yea, verily, mayhap I should not have come after all. Good day, Dr. Foreman. I beseech you pardon me, for I have wasted your time.
Prithee, do not go, for I assure you, madam, your case verily is important to me. And 'tis important to you, is it not, Mistress Allen? Else you would not have come this day.
Well, aye.
Let us consult the stars now then, shall we? What is the cause of Mistress Allen's suffering?
Okay. I was up all night with headache and chundering. I don't know what chundering means. Does anyone know what chundering means?
I think she was vomiting.
Oh, vomiting? Headache and vomiting. Okay. Let's see now. I don't know. Tell me more about these. This is the crab. This is the Cancer, right? Mm-hmm. And this is the Scorpio. Mm-hmm. Let me see. Okay. Cancer, ruler of the stomach. Saturn in detriment and retrograde. This suggests a mild imbalance of black bile in the body. Evil digestion. Evil digestion, okay? Or, Mr. Allen troubles have been provoked by anxious passions associated with her being with child. This thing a disturbance of the mind. Okay.
Well, she could have morning sickness from being pregnant. That's what it means.
Yeah, but all night? Like headaches and throwing up all night? Is that morning sickness, or that doesn't sound like morning sickness? Scorpio is the ruler of the reproductive system. Oh, good to know. I think I knew that already, but I think it's the meat thing that they ate. I think that was the problem. Well, they implied that she might be pregnant, like, that in the way she talked about it.
Yeah.
But then they also had some food that could have given them indigestion. I don't know.
Can't you pick one?
Okay, well, let's go with Cancer.
Mistress Allen, it appears you are suffering from evil digestion. 'Twas doubtless engendered by corrupt meats. Mayhap the cold meats you took for supper.
Verily?
Why, yes. My chart shows that Saturn is in Cancer at this moment. Cancer rules the stomach, and Saturn is the ruler of black bile. 'Tis a mild imbalance of black bile that is the cause of your suffering. And now you've purged it, you have merely to keep to your bed for a day and to rest.
The bile? Do you think... might it have done ill to my unborn child?
Ah, then I take it you believe you are with child. Mayhap 'twas the reason for your celebration last even. Pray tell, how long has it been since your monthly courses?
Aye, sir, I do believe it. For it has been 14 weeks since my courses, and yesterday I did even feel the child quicken. In truth, 'tis the reason I am come, not on my own account, and not even then, if my situation were ordinary. I have been with child before, you see, but 'tis never. And Mr. Allen, and I do pray this one will be born alive. Dr. Foreman, prithee speak true. Have I killed our child? Have I killed this child as well?
For some reason, the audio's...
No, madam, speak not so of yourself. You are the child's mother. 'Tis you who gives life to the babe growing inside you. And verily, if mere chundering were to cause grave harm when a woman is with child, why, then full half my feminine querence would be barren.
I'm sorry. 'Tis just that I am...
Dear lady, would God have spared you from the plague if 'twas not his plan for you to have this child?
I own 'tis. Yes, doubtless God does have plans for me. How very kind you are, Mr. Dr. Foreman. I thank ye, and fare you well, sir.
The audio's a little out
Fare
of
you
sync.
well, Mistress Allen.
Yeah, I knew the pregnancy thing too. It's just like... but, like, I wondered if the headache was also caused by the pregnancy. That's the...
Well, it could.
Yeah. Okay, the querent did present with symptoms of headache and involuntary upward purging. I judged the querent is suffering from evil digestion. Methinks the querent was pleased with me for the reading I gave this day. Oh, okay. This querent will return for another consultation. Okay. Querent is patient then. What a kind man Dr. Foreman is, and so patient with me. Okay. He whom thou hast not blessed with sense and wisdom. Okay.
Good day, sir. You are Simon Foreman, the physician, are you not? These are your rooms.
Indeed, I am he, and well met, sir. Be it Thomas Blagg I have the honour of welcoming to my humble consulting chambers, the Dean of Rochester Cathedral?
Indeed, 'tis I, Thomas Blagg. Though it is not upon church business that I come to you this day. 'Tis upon a matter of my own that I require counsel. I have lately been offered some very lucrative investment opportunities. And, well, it is said that God speaks to us through the stars, does he not?
Does he now?
Indeed he does. 'Tis well known that astrology is but a conduit for the word of God, as interpreted using scientifical means. And now, these investments of which you speak, pray tell of them, if you please.
2 merchant ships will shortly set sail on very lucrative trading expeditions. I do not possess the coin to invest in both. Hence, I must choose between them. And I must choose very wisely indeed. For sea voyages are most perilous. And if my ship were to founder or be captured by pirates, I would lose my entire investment.
Aye, forsooth, 'twould be most lamentable, to say nothing of the poor souls who might lose their lives.
Who are, naturally, the greater of my concerns.
Aye, naturally. And whither might these ships be bound?
The first is bound for the Spice Islands of the East. 'Tis a voyage to be undertaken by a ship named the Conquering Cherub. The other is the Pride of Yarmouth. She is to bring back sugar from the Americas. Have you now the information you require? Then perchance you may divine for me upon which of these 2 ships our Lord God has bestowed his divine blessing.
Now, if
Dean Blagg, we may now consult the stars. Should Thomas Blagg invest in the voyage of the Conquering Cherub, or that of the Pride of Yarmouth?
I am inclined to look up if these ships were actually part of history and which one actually made it. I guess if I knew enough about history, I wouldn't be guessing right now. What were the something cherub and the Conquering Cherub? Conquering Cherub. Is there... I don't think these are actual ships. I think they're made up. Conquering Cherub and Harmouth or something? Pride of...
I'm sure if you turn the page, you're gonna have
Pride of Yarmouth.
Does it exist?
I don't see anything. No idea.
There we go.
Okay, well, one of them's going to America, and the other one is going to India. That's or Asia, at least. Huh. Okay. What?
Oh, you can read the sky. You can read the sky in way A or B.
Okay, let's read it. It gives you Mars domicile in Scorpio. This represents victory. House of Children.
The ship name should evoke a child who is victorious in battle.
The ship's name should evoke a child who's victor. Okay, Conquering Cherub.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then
Okay.
what is the other one?
The other one is Blake's investment in trading voyage will result in a change of fortune for him. It doesn't say positive or negative. This is a change in fortune.
Okay.
Uh,
The other.
change. Okay, what about this? Ship's name should evoke a woman who partakes in a marriage.
Okay, that's not the right one.
The Pride of Yarmouth, no.
No, that doesn't mean anything, so it's gonna be the other one.
Yeah, it's gotta be this one. Child who's victorious in battle. Okay.
So you can take that one?
The stars advise you to invest in the ship named the Conquering Cherub.
I see. And why is that?
Well, I have calculated that at this very hour, upon this very day, the planet Mars and the constellation Scorpio do both dwell in that part of the sky we call the House of Children. And as it happens, Mars is the ruler of Scorpio, hence we may say that Mars is presently exalted.
Mars has been exalted by Scorpio, you say? And what might that mean?
When exalted, Mars represents victory. And so, with victory in the House of Children, we may read this as a victorious child. Ergo, the Conquering Cherub.
Ah, I see. For a cherub is a kind of child, is it not? In sooth, I do find the science of astrology very fascinating. I thank you, Dr. Foreman. You have been most helpful.
This is awesome. Quinn did not.
You're an
Did-
astrologer.
Yeah, Quinn did wish to know which two of trading expeditions would make the better investment. I did advise the Querent to invest in the voyage of the Conquering Cherub. Methinks the Querent was pleased with me for the reading I gave this day. Huh, okay.
I suppose that as we go, they're gonna get more and more complex. Okay. Afraid of everything.
Good morrow, sir. Pray tell, are these the consulting chambers of Simon Foreman, Doctor of Astrology and Physic?
Indeed, 'tis I, Dr. Simon Foreman. And your name, madam?
Emma Sharp of Shoreditch, sir. 25 years of age.
Welcome, Miss Sharp. And how may I do you service this day?
Well, 'tis a trifle delicate. A man has asked me to be his wife. A dear, kind man, but I fear you will think me cold, Dr. Foreman.
There, madam, whatever is the matter?
Well, he is exceeding advanced in years. I do worry he may not be long for the world, and if he were to die, I do not think I could bear it. Verily, I would not. Indeed, methinks I would rather not marry him at all. Am I very heartless, Dr. Foreman?
Nay, not in the least, madam. Your fears are most reasonable. The man in the winter of his life is indeed more likely to die. I assure you, madam, 'tis a medical fact. But methinks you wish to know whether this man be afflicted with a grave health condition, do you not? To wit, any ailment that might soon prove fatal?
Forsooth I do. That is my question precisely. Why, Dr. Foreman, 'tis as if you have a gift for reading minds.
Merely the gift of logical surmise, madam. Let us see whether a judgment of the stars may calm your fears. Does Mr. What was your gentleman's name?
Mr. George Middleton, a wool merchant.
Does Mr. Middleton have any ailments that might hasten his death?
Okay. Oh, 3 options now. We have Aries, and we have Libra, and we have Leo. Okay. Ruler of the head. Okay. Mr. Milton has been bewitched. The enchantment may prove fatal. Okay. This suggests a mild enchantment cast by a witch. Pluto and retrograde, this suggests the possibility of death. Okay. What's Libra saying?
Ruler of the kidney.
Suffers from dropping down of the piss, characterized by involuntary urination. It's exacerbated when combined with his fear of heights.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vertigo.
Cardiac passion, a condition that may end in death.
The illness cannot be cured. Mild and balance of life.
Imbalance of phlegm. All 3 are suggesting bad diseases.
Yeah,
Except this one doesn't result in death.
Oh yeah, but that's just vertigo. That doesn't say anything. He's just afraid of heights. And he pisses himself when he's afraid of height.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Okay, how would we know what illnesses he would possibly have in the future without knowing the person at all?
I would go with the lion one because the other ones don't talk really about his.
Well, this one does.
What is it?
Oh, bewitched. That's not health, right?
No. That doesn't talk about health. That talk about his fear.
Okay. Okay. This is the only health thing, right?
Yeah.
I am full sorry, madam, but the stars give heavy news. Mr. Middleton suffers from a cardiac passion. Indeed, his heart may stop at any moment. He must avoid anything that might alarm or trouble his vital spirits. One shock could be enough to kill him.
Oh, woe, alas, poor Mr. Middleton. I thank you for your kind understanding, Dr. Foreman, and for your discretion in this matter. I will at once to my family go and beseech them not to make me accept Mr. Middleton's proposal. God give you a good day, Dr. Foreman.
They're happy. And when they're happy with the diagnosis, that's when the pluses show up.
Exactly.
Did wish to know whether a man she wishes to marry does suffer from a grave. Suffers from a cardiac passion. He thinks the coroner is pleased. Okay. That's pretty good. 40.
40 letter of recommendation. That's pretty good.
No, when this is full, she's gonna give a letter of recommendation.
Oh.
Each person has a bar. Beware, is the man treating you a qualified licensed doctor? London has lately been importuned by low-born charlatans claiming the title of doctor. These men have never attended university and therefore cannot be trusted. Any man found to be practicing medicine without a medical license shall be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Dr. Richard Smith, President, College of Physicians.
Murdering would those doctors come.
Murdering the doctors come.
Murdering one fine day.
Those doctors would they say. Those doctors
Those children they slay for us, slay for us. We send him to jail.
So silly.
What is the meaning of this warning being put about by the College of Physicians? Do they mean to do me harm? It is true that I do not have a medical license. What am I to do? Mayhap the stars will advise me.
Okay, let's consult the stars for this too. What should I do? Okay. The authority the licensed doctor of London hold is primarily owing to their wealth and privilege. There is much that they do not know about physics. Jupiter falling in Capricorn, this represents ignorance. Okay. House of Wealth and Ignorance. Okay. College of Physicians is making war against me. If I'm to become the best doctor in London, I must find a way to end this war. Mars and Record, this advice is ending a war. Okay. House of Ambitions. Okay. This is House of Religion, and the Sun represents a religious authority. The Church of England can help me, for the Archbishop of Canterbury has a special power to grant medical licenses. Huh. Okay. Okay. Alright, so that paints a story. So this story is the doctors have too much privilege, and we need to stop this imbalance. And you need the help of religion, the help of Archbishop of Canterbury to do it. Okay, that's option A. What's option B? Mercury in House of Relationships. Okay, intelligence in relationship. I must use my brilliant mind to forge strong relationship with my querents. Okay. The moon exalted in Taurus, this advice sensitivity. Okay. The solution involves being sensitive to the needs of my querents. Okay, that sounds like a good option. You're building better relationship with your patients so that they defend you against any such accusations, kind of thing. That's what option B suggests. Option A is like you fight against a structural power using religion, or option B is you better build better relationship with your community so that they support you when they... Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with this one.
It seems that if I'm to avoid prosecution by the College of Physicians, I must obtain a medical license. Towards this end, doubtless the best course is to serve my querents well, treating their illnesses and problems with intelligence and sensitivity. For if I do, they may favour me with letters of recommendation, and I can use these to petition the University of Cambridge to grant me a license.
That's his second case.
For himself.
Yeah, the first case was he cured the plague. The second one is he...
I wouldn't even be surprised if there was something like that in London. The plague.
Who's this man at the door who we've not seen before? Who is this man at the door who we've not seen before? Who is come to inquire? Dressed in such strange attire? He's
Signor Ferraro.
Good day to you, sir. Oh, I see you're having some difficulties. William, fetch my guest a chair.
No, he's good. I am just a little stiff.
As you wish. Mr.
Signor Riccardo Ferraro. I am a gentleman of Venezia, come to make a trade in London.
Venice? 'Tis a fine city, I hear. And how may I do you service this day, Signor Ferraro?
I am come with una problema medicale, and you are most great dottore who does cure all London, huh? You cure Ferraro too, see?
Forsooth, I will seek to do so, Signor. Pray, describe your complaints, if you please.
Is burning when I make the water.
Pain during urination?
See, and is pain down here. Molto pain.
And pain in the lower back. Now, let us see what the stars can tell us. What ails Signor Riccardo Ferraro?
Sounds like a what?
Kidneys.
Kidneys, yeah.
Kidneys infection.
Could be a urine infection.
Well, that goes up into the kidney.
Yeah. Should drink cranberry juice. Okay, so we have Pisces, we have Scorpio, and Libra again. Okay. So Mars, imbalance of yellow bile, color in the body, so color.
Into the joint of the foot. No, that's not what it is.
Which is caused by hot, dry, humor, seeping. Nope. Libra.
Stone in the kidney, that's more.
Stone in the kidneys can occasionally occasion loss of appetite, severe pain in the kidney area, vomiting, and difficulty passing urine. Okay.
That is more like.
It suggests a severe amount of phlegm in the body. What is phlegm? In this case. That's an old concept, right?
It is old medical concept.
Yeah.
The phlegm, the humors, and the bile, and they were different energy / liquid inside the body.
Yeah.
They weren't exactly specific liquids, but they were a physical form of body energy.
Okay. Dysentery is
Bowel.
Mercury.
That's not it.
Ruler of the bowels. Okay. Suggests Signor Ferraro is lying. Signor Ferraro has dysentery characterized by pain in the bowels, faintness, and oily stools. Definitely not.
I think that one is the right one.
Yeah.
Kidney area, difficulty passing urine. That's what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably at the beginning.
'Tis a case of stones in the kidney, I regret to say. But worry not, Signor. I will give you an ounce of my strong water to dislodge them. Drink this entire flask when you rise at dawn tomorrow. You may then expect to evacuate the stones by way of your privy member within just a few hours.
Ah, your famous strong water. This water is said to cure the plague, huh? I thank you, Signor Foreman. And now Riccardo Ferraro bids you good day.
I hope that works out. You only had 10? He's like interesting. He seems to exhibit at least the semblance of competence. That's his. He's very pompous.
So she is no beauty, 'tis true she lacks finesse, but every awkward hero needs his awkward princess.
That's a weird description. Hey, that's the same woman.
Yeah,
The first one. Yeah.
that's good.
Says, it is sure she is no beauty, but it is true she lacks finesse, but every awkward hero needs his awkward princess. That's funny.
Well met, Mistress Allen. Pray tell, the last time I saw you, you were with child, methinks. Pray tell, how fares...
I would rather not talk about that if you please.
Oh, I see. I am full sorry, madam.
I'm
brings
come
you this?
upon... The matter
Beg
that
your
brings...
pardon, madam. I prithee, madam, say on.
I'm come about the new law. I know not what to do, and I would have counsel.
You are in trouble with the law, madam?
Nay, at least not yet, but my neighbours have begun to remark unkindly upon my absences, my Sunday absences from church. I'm afeard one of them may soon denounce me.
Ah, 'tis the Act Against Recusants you speak of. The law that obliges Catholics to attend church and take the English sacrament. You are of the Catholic faith, then, I take it?
I, a Catholic, but as well a law-abiding woman and a full loyal subject of the Queen. Long may she reign.
I do not doubt it, madam.
But to take the Protestant sacrament, 'tis heresy. So says the Pope in Rome. I risk being damned to hell if I do it, Dr. Foreman. Verily, I find myself in a most terrible bind.
I see. Damned if you do, yet condemned if you do not. A cruel bind indeed. Let us see if the stars may untangle it for us. Should Mistress Avis Allen attend Protestant church services?
Wow. Okay. Should I obey the law and attend Protestant church service? Oh my god.
Now they talk about historicals.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, so A has... I'm enjoying this game way too much. I'm way over time. I probably played over 40 minutes already, but this is so awesome. Okay. Jealousy, okay? Jealousy in... It suggests confusion. House of Wealth. Okay. Some have the wrong impression of the Allen's wealth and are envious. Mr. Allen's problems is her female neighbors. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, no, that...
Okay, B has like 4 of them. Evis must remain strong in her Catholic faith, for when the Queen dies, her successor may revert England back to Catholicism. Okay. Okay. Creative solution for appeasing the Pope in Rome, whilst also honoring England's Protestant legacy.
Creativity, oh, that's cool.
What's it called?
House of Legacy.
Yeah. Mr. Allen's risks getting in trouble with the law and being punished by the authorities. And Mr. Allen's duty to cooperate.
Okay.
I
would say that one. Find a creative way to appease the Pope and beat your time. That's actually really good.
This is one reading, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one reading.
So the first says, must remain strong in faith. Okay. Strong in faith, yes.
And
Appease the Pope and also honor England
cooperate with.
By cooperating with the law.
Yeah. So cooperate with the law, but stay strong in your faith. That maybe after the Queen die, you might be able to return to full Catholicism.
I fear the stars confirm your fears. You must attend church every Sunday, lest you risk being prosecuted for being a recusant.
Oh, but then what of my soul, Dr. Foreman?
Methinks I have a solution for that, madam. If you were to cross your fingers behind your back during the service, any Protestant oath you swear would not count. Of course, you must be sure to stand at the back of the church while doing so, so that only God may see, and no one else.
Sooth, what an ingenious notion! Oh, Dr. Foreman, you have saved me. You are so wise, sir. 'Tis so. Verily, 'tis most admirable.
Dear lady, 'tis you who is to be admired. The strength of resolve, your devotion to your faith, and your... Madam, would you care to see my collection of Venetian glassware?
Oh my god.
I think I would. Indeed, I would like that very well.
Consultation.
What? That's awesome. That's ridiculous.
Here comes a beauty dark as night. Her hair does shine, her eyes are bright. A damsel formed for man's delight. Oh, she is quite a lady. Oh, she is quite a lady.
That is so cool.
This game is awesome.
There's a lot of stuff.
Good day to you, sir. I am Amelia Bassano of Bishopsgate, here for my consultation.
Welcome, Mistress Bassano. Bassano, 'tis an Italian name, is it not?
Aye, it is, sir. Though I was born in London, my family are from Venice. They did come to London to gain employment as musicians at the royal court.
Ah, I know one of your countrymen, Riccardo Ferraro, another one of my querents. Mayhap you know him? He hails from Venice, too.
No, sir, I do not know him. Venice is a large city, and as such, 'tis home to many thousands of men. And as I did mention, I was born in London.
Aye, of course. Mayhap we turn our thoughts to what brings you hither this day. Have you a question for me?
Aye, sir, I wish to know what afflicts me, for my belly does begin to swell, and lately I oft find myself chundering after meals.
Swollen abdomen and involuntary upward purging. Well now, let us consult the stars to judge the cause of these troubles. What is ailing Mistress Amelia Bassano?
Okay, so we have Sagittarius, Scorpio, and Capricorn. So the sun is suggests the illness is chronic. Ruler of the knees. Current is afflicted with the crick of the knees caused by pressure of excessive weight gain. Nope.
It's with
Child. The illness will not last long. Okay. Ruler of the reproductive system. Okay. And suffering from liver worms, imbalance of phlegm in the body. Huh. Well.
Either she's with child or
She says after meals, not.
yeah, after meals, not in the morning or anything like that.
Yeah.
I would say that one.
But the belly extending, like that's kind of...
Yeah, but we don't really have enough information.
No, we don't have information about anything. It's just, it's all guesswork using the stars. Shelley, what do you think? Are you still watching? Okay. Well, it's definitely not the knees one. The question is, what would she feel happy with? I think that's like, what if she does? Well, maybe she would be happy with the child thing. Maybe if she's married.
We don't know if she is.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, since she's sick after every meal, I would think that it's the liver thing.
I'm gonna research some morning sickness. Like, do you get sick after every meal? I don't think so.
No, they eat more.
This is making me look up symptoms. Yeah, throwing up after every meal doesn't make sense, right?
No.
Because you need food. Oh. Actually, early pregnancy symptoms say some women feel nauseous every time they eat or even all day long, while others have occasional queasiness.
Yeah, but nauseous, not. They don't purge themselves every time. That's what she's saying.
You may feel both queasy and hungry at the same time. You might also vomit a lot or a little, or you may never vomit at all. So it's kind of... Okay, we're seeing pregnancy.
What are those at the top?
Those are menus, and these are the letters of recommendation.
Okay.
At what stage each one is. I think we're gonna go with pregnancy.
Okay.
I neglected to ask. Is there a Mr. Bassano?
My father still lives.
I mean to say, are you yet married, Mistress Bassano? I presume you are, for the stars indicate that you are with child. Wondrous news indeed.
Ah, I see.
Of course, it is natural for a young lady to be a trifle anxious when she's expecting her first child. And I see you are anxious, are you not?
I, Mr. Foreman, I own that I am.
Well, doubtless you are anxious owing to the unpredictable nature of your condition. For instance, sometimes the child might emerge from its mother's womb early, weeks or even months earlier than anticipated. This possibility is a medical fact, and one that should be explained to any husband you may... Do you see what I'm saying, Mistress Bassano?
Nay, not in the least, sir.
Some of my maiden querents, I assume you are still unmarried and therefore a maiden, when they find themselves inexplicably with child, they oft do not remain unmarried for long. I advise you to discuss this with your family without delay, Mistress Bassano. Doubtless they will be keen to make the arrangements for you.
I see. Yes, of course. I must lose no time in finding a husband. I thank you, Dr. Foreman. Good day.
So that was the right thing.
Yeah, she knew. She kind of suspected, I think. doubtless cousin Alfonso will consent to marry me, especially if Lord Hansen settles money on me for the child.
Okay, yeah. I guess you were right.
Mary Kate is frightened when she spies a looking glass. For 'tis a portal out through whence the gates of heaven will glass like deadly and the wind that comes direct from Satan's heart.
Okay.
Yeah, Shelley's like, she doesn't seem pleased. Yeah, yeah, that's a lot of social drama to go through, right? Yeah, that's messed up. But what is this? This is way too messed up.
They're all messed up. Did you put your timer on?
No, I'm just enjoying this game way too much.
Who cares about other games? This one is just hilarious. It's a cool system.
Yeah. Okay, what does this mean anyway? Frighted when she spies looking glass, for it is a portal out through whence the gates of hell do blast. A deadly and foul wind that comes directly from... Okay, this... I don't know what this implies.
She freaked out because you have a telescope.
Yeah, but like the description of
to
it.
you, Dr. Foreman. I am Mary Payne of 4th Street in Lambeth. I'm come to seek your counsel about my neighbours.
Good morrow, Mistress Payne, and well met. What trouble do your neighbours give you? They play their lutes into the night, perchance? Mayhap a neighbour has cast a malignant spell upon your cabbages.
Why, sir, 'tis no trifling matter. Indeed, 'tis a matter of grave importance. Doubtless you do know we have a Catholic living on 4th Street. A woman by the name of Avis Allen.
Yes. I did hear tell that Mistress Allen subscribes to the Romish faith. But 'tis no crime to be a Catholic, is it, madam? At least, not at present.
Aye, but harbouring a Jesuit priest is, Dr. Foreman. These evenings past, I have spied a man sneaking in and out of the Allens' house. 'Tis my reckoning the man is a priest who is going hither and thither all over Lambeth to perform the Catholic Mass and take confessions. Doubtless Mr. Allen is hiding him in one of those little cupboards.
You mean to say you think Mr. Allen has installed a priest hole in his house? A secret room hidden behind the wood panelling of a wall?
Indeed I do. I am certain that he has such a hole, and that a priest is going in and out of Mr. Allen's hole from dusk till dawn.
Verily? How troubling. But surely you are mistaken, madam, for under the cover of darkness, how can you be sure the man you did spy was not Mr. Allen himself?
Nay, 'twas not Mr. Allen. Mr. Allen is a fine, tall figure of a man, whereas the figure I did spy was very narrow and malformed in appearance. A scrawny little imp of a man he was.
I see.
Now, you must not think me intolerant, Dr. Foreman. If Mistress Allen must cling to her idolatrous backward beliefs, 'tis her own affair, and I have no wish to cause trouble for the Allens. And 'tis true that Mistress Allen does now attend church on Sundays and takes the English sacrament just as she ought to. But we residents of 4th Street are decent English folk. We will not abide an agent of Rome sneaking around our neighbourhood, muttering incantations in some devilish foreign tongue.
I think you mean Latin, madam.
When I act upon my suspicions, I think it wise to know if there be any truth in them.
Then let us see what the stars can tell us. Who is this mysterious stranger, and why does he frequent the Allen's house late at night?
In and out of Mr. Allen's hole.
Oh wow, 3 options. Are my neighbors the Allens hiding a Jesuit priest? Huh. Okay, it's a thief. It's him. The doctor itself is going there to sleep with the wife. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is awesome. This speaks of a relationship with an untrustworthy foreigner. As foreigners are untrustworthy by nature, this element may be of no particular significance. Mysterio's maternal instincts have been thwarted by her inability to bear a child, but she stubbornly persists in trying to reverse her infertility. Huh.
So a stranger to keep trying to get a child, okay.
Educated man who adorns himself in fine clothes. The man Mr. Spranshaw is a public enemy who engages in adulterous worship of the Virgin Mary. In other words, he's a Jesuit priest.
Yeah, so depending what you decide, it's either him, a stranger that tried to help her have a child, or the priest.
If we go with the... This is the thief.
A thief?
A thief or a lover or a...
Or a priest.
Yeah. I think she might accept the lover option more.
Yeah?
Ah, 'twould seem the man you saw is a foreigner who's been secreted into the Allen house to aid Mistress Allen with their family difficulties.
Family difficulties? Come, Dr. Foreman, pray speak plain.
Ah, well, as you doubtless know, the Allens have never been blessed with a living child. Mayhap 'tis the belief of Mistress Allen that the seed of a foreigner would prove more powerful than the demonstrably less successful seed of Mr. Allen.
Then 'tis naught but adultery, fornication with a foreigner. Mistress Allen will pay dearly for such sinning. Her soul will be damned to an afterlife beset by the exquisite tortures of hell's capricious demons.
Aye, well, according to scripture, that is technically true.
But to harbour a Jesuit priest is a far greater evil. We must be glad that Mistress Allen commits naught but the sin of adultery, conducted late at night with a man who gives forth strong foreign seed. You have given me much to think on, Dr. Foreman. Blessed day.
I am glad to have been of service, Mrs. Payne.
Now she wants it too. Now she's fantasizing about it.
It's like, yeah, it's so much better than being a Catholic, you know. It's like, that is, wow, okay. Okay, what a fine-looking youth Foreman's manservant is. Oh, would I were in my niece's age again. Okay. She didn't even say anything about the case itself. Oh, he's back. Okay.
God give you good day, Signor. And how may I assist you?
'Tis I, Riccardo Ferraro, come once again to see the great Dottore Simon Foreman.
So I see. What brings you this day?
I bring myself to you, so you treat my illness. 'Tis very grave.
And, what might this illness be? Perchance we might start with your complaints.
First problem is a laughter that cannot be controlled.
Uncontrollable laughter, you say? I see. Anything else?
Next problem, the dancing that cannot be controlled.
Uncontrollable dancing. And yet, you do not appear to be dancing at present.
What can I say? 'Tis uncontrollable dancing. Control when I dance.
Nay, 'tis a fair point.
Doubtless my disease, whatever it may be, is very rare and very difficult to diagnose. But of course, if it be beyond your medical understanding...
Let me assure you, Signor, that whatever is said of us on the continent, the learning of we English doctors is unparalleled. There is no better medical care to be had than in London. Now, let us see whether the stars may tell us something of your unusual and troubling illness.
What?
He's obviously lying.
He's in love with someone. That's basically what's going on.
You think?
Yeah. He's happy and joyful. That's what's going on.
You keep burping.
Yeah, that too. Let's see. Okay, what is this? Has been bitten by a tarantula on one of his ankles. Cause the victim to laugh, sing, or dance uncontrollably while also provoking an acute loathing of music. Really? That's what it does?
It's just crazy stuff.
It's just an imbalance of blood.
Okay.
Suffering from colic, a disease that occasions abdominal pain, belching, and bloating of the stomach. Okay.
Belching. That's why he keep burping. That's what he's really suffering from, not the laughing and stuff.
I wonder what will happen if I go against what the symptoms he reported.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like you're experiencing pain in your stomach.
But how did you know this?
Indeed, methinks you are stricken with a bout of colic. Most doctors do advise upward purging, but I have found the dog cure more efficacious in cases of colic.
The dog cure?
Aye. First you must find a dog lying idle on the ground. On any street in London you will find such a creature. Then you must kick the dog away, lower your breeches, and then make water upon the spot where the dog did lie.
If you say so, Signor Foreman.
If we were not on English soil, of course, I would have said you were bitten by a tarantula. But there be no such spiders in England. Our weather is much too cold for them. Indeed, only an overqualified quack who draws his medical knowledge from books alone would think such a diagnosis appropriate in this case.
Indeed, most ludicrous.
And in truth, the laughing and dancing you are troubled with may doubtless be attributed to your hot-blooded Latin temperament.
Doubtless you speak true, eh? 'Tis but a symptom of my hot Venetian blood. Riccardo Ferraro bids you good day.
That was a lot of flattery. Let me see how much... Just 10.
What manner of dark magic do you learn in my stomach pain? Yeah.
Why does this lady feel confined? Mayhap the world is too unkind. Nay, doctor, medicate her mind.
Pray cure this comely lady.
Good day to you, madam.
Yes. Good day, Mr. Foreman. Pray tell, is your Venetian querent Riccardo Ferraro one of the patients you treat for troubles of the mind? Forsooth, his manner is right strange. I passed him at the door, and when I addressed him in the Italian tongue, he abruptly turned from me and ran away down the street.
Nay, Signor Ferraro has no grave troubles of the mind that I'm aware of. Mayhap he was merely dumbstruck by your beauty, madam.
Dr. Foreman, a man is rarely struck dumb by a woman's beauty. Indeed, 'tis quite the reverse. He is oft rendered all the more loquacious, plaguing her with ill-formed metaphors he believes are compliments, and with hasty declarations and invitations she has neither sought nor invited.
But let us turn our minds to happier thoughts.
This is awesome.
I did lately hear of your marriage to your cousin, Mr. Alfonso Lania, for which I must congratulate you. And as I recall, you were with child when I last saw you.
I was, as you correctly judged.
And your child and husband are both well, I hope?
I would rather not discourse on the subject of my husband, Dr. Foreman.
As it pleases you, madam. What brings you this day?
Lately I have been feeling heavy and lethargic. I do also find it hard to fix my attention upon the book I am reading or upon words I am composing. And yet, although I oft feel right tired, I am having difficulty sleeping.
Ah, well, becoming a mother, beset with all the demands of a suckling babe, can force change upon the normal rhythms of life.
Nay, 'tis not that, for I have employed a wet nurse for the feeding and much of the care of my son. Methinks I must have some kind of disease.
I see. Let us consult the stars to see what afflicts you. What is ailing Mistress Emilia Lania?
Okay. Leo says suffers from melancholy, being in excess of black bile. So depression.
Yeah. Which would be normal after a pregnancy.
Oh, postpartum. Okay, that's what's going on. Okay. The querent suffers from phlegmatism. It's a temper associated with an excess of phlegm characterized by stoicism and stubbornness. No. There is trouble with an excessively choleric temperament. It's associated with an excess of yellow bile. Suffers exhibit aggressive, opinionated nature. Nope.
No, I think the first one.
I think it's postpartum.
Yeah.
Mistress Lania, the stars indicate that your suffering is occasioned by melancholy, or, in other words, black bile.
I see. And what treatment can you give me for it?
Before we speak of treating your condition, madam, I think it wise we determine what has provoked it. You did express a desire not to speak of your husband, and I cannot help but think that such a reluctance reveals where the source of your troubles might lie, to wit, within your marriage. Would I be right in thinking this? I do not wish to cause you distress, madam, but as a doctor, I do feel I must press you in case it is relevant to your troubles.
My marriage is not a happy one, Dr. Foreman. Mr. Lanier and I do not agree on matters of money and strong drink.
I see. And what are your opinions on these subjects?
That he spends all our money on strong drink. He disagrees.
And your husband cannot be brought around to see your point of view, nor you his, I presume. Well, the marital discord provoked by strong differences of opinion can often engender melancholy in a wife. Until the matter is resolved between you, you may take a syrup of roses and chicory. Drink of it each day, and it will serve to reinvigorate your vital spirits. I will also have my manservant William bleed you of some of that excess bile.
I thank you, Dr. Foreman.
William, come hither and bleed Mistress Lania.
Huh. Ooh, wow. Okay, I love how each of these stories are progressing. They're just the writing is so good, and the characters are so interesting.
They have bleeding my husband would cure him of his things of very good.
Okay, this is awesome. Okay, this is really awesome. I'm gonna probably come back and finish this game, but I have to stop now and check the other games out. This game is hilarious. I hope it's saved. I hope it auto saved.
It just say continue. It's probably have to save every step of the way.
Okay. Yeah, continue game. Okay, sounds good. Okay. So that was Astrologaster by Niam Yam. I think
That is
that's
a really cool system.
it's a really interesting system that they have for like story progression and choices. This is really interesting. That was a brilliant design. I really enjoyed that. So we're gonna change pace a bit. I'm gonna take a 5-minute break, and I'm gonna come back with the second game, which is I forgot the full name. It's The Tail Makes the Fox. That's the next game. So I'll be back in about 5 minutes, and we'll check that out. Okay, I'm back. Still laughing about that last game, so... Okay, but let's start the next one. So the next one is The Tale Makes the Fox by Rainworks. And this is the link to their profile. I think this one is a visual novel. I think it's a visual novel about hell. You play as an auditor of hell to investigate a wayward governor. Sounds interesting. Hi, you're back. Yeah, no problem. So we're just about to start the second game. Yeah, that's good. What are you having for dinner today? Yeah, the other game, Astrologaster. We stopped right at when that Italian lady came back a second time. We stopped right there. I love her, how, like, all her dialogues are so, like, has so much content, but it's all subtle.
She's such a feminist.
Yeah.
The tale makes the fox.
Okay, the 7 Districts of Sin, Episode 1, The Tale Makes the Fox. I love the color in this because it goes so well with my theme here. All the purples and the pinks. So Shelly says, I'm making pizza and some steamed veg. Oh, that sounds good. That's a nice balance. No, it's a great balance. I'm drinking Tim Hortons French vanilla cappuccino. Oh, nice. Yeah, we have some in the cupboard. We haven't had any for a while. Yeah, it's pretty, right? I love the lights. The light on this art is great. I don't think I have to change any settings. It's all standard visual novel settings. So let's just start. Years have passed, but still none have forgotten the 100-Year War, the tragedy that came very close to overthrowing the supreme overlord of hell, Lucifer. Lucifer. I'm gonna set myself a timer. I know I'm running really late now because I played that game for like an hour and a half. No, I started at 8:50. It was, yeah, it's like 8:20 or so. Anyway, let's check this out for now. Wayward demons who had received nothing but abuse deceived the ultimate deceiver and waged war on the devil. Lucifer squashed that first attack swiftly. It would have been the end of the war had not one significant event occurred. The traitorous demons joined sides with the humans, lending the mortals their unholy powers. The battle escalated into a fierce and bloody struggle, causing death to plague both earth and hell for decades upon decades. Those acts of insubordination dealt a huge blow to the Lord of Hell's patience and pride. It was simply not enough for them to snuff out the war. Many had to fall along with it. Disregarding all loyalties, both enemy and ally alike were torn down by the devil's own hand. When With the end of the 100-Year War, the structures of hell were broken and in need of reform. And so Lord Lucifer split the underworld into 7 districts, each with its own distinct culture. The first district, Kessel of Gluttony. Second district, Fushuang of Lust. The third district, Murcielago of Greed. The fourth district, Phantasma of Pride. The fifth district, Graftstein of Sloth. The sixth district, Kumo Noito of Wrath, and finally the 7th district, Yuir of Envy. Order and as much peace as one would expect in hell was restored by that act. Each district was allowed to live independently from the rest, but was asked to deal with their own problems. And controlled by their own individual governors, they were each tasked with harvesting a particular sin. This new way of life divided the demons, allowing Overlord Lucifer to establish stronger control over them, ensuring they would never again be betrayed. At least that was the idea. Recently there has been unrest within the districts. One in particular has been causing more trouble than they're worth, and the devil is starting to get tired of hearing about it. Lucy, as the Overlord is more casually known, squints at the sniveling governor standing before them.
Overlord, are you listening? That forsaken succubus is at it again. She is a thief!
Whatever the man is saying is irrelevant. Right now, Lucy isn't focused on his complaints. Instead, they're entertaining themselves by creating the illusion of placing him just between their forefinger and thumb. With one forceful pinch, they pretend to crush him. They can already hear the governor's bones snapping and his blood sloshing from his skin like a burst pimple. The man stops speaking as Lucy's face brightens with an enlightened realization. Again, what the governor says is irrelevant and isn't impacting the devil's mood or thought process at all. Lucy suddenly realizes with the greatest delight that their devilishness doesn't have to be imaginary. They can do exactly that, and so easily in reality without consequence. Their strangely melodic laugh fills the throne room, the hallway, and every room from the east to the west wing. Cracks quickly run through the walls, wooden doors splinter, and the windows all rock violently in their frames. It should be noted that the cost incurred every year in collateral damage just from the Overlord's moods should never be mentioned or thought of. This year alone, 80 people in their finance department have been executed for mentioning it.
You're like a tiny little bug.
Lucifer continues to snicker, the demonic laughter dying to just a slither of a smile.
My mistress! Mars?
Supreme Overlord shakes their head slowly, a warning glint shimmering in their regal eyes. It seems playful at first, but slowly begins to bore holes into the demon's skull. The governor gulps loudly, afraid to open his mouth and utter the wrong thing again, but the tap of Lucy's fingers against the arm of the throne represents a countdown of the seconds of patience they have left.
Lady, Lord, Sir?
Lady, Lord, Sir? Insubordination!
Lucy's foot slams down, causing a quake to ripple through the entire building. The human resource department below is showered in rubble, but they continue to work through the natural disaster that is their overlord.
You, the 4th governor of the 3rd district, come here before me and do grovel appropriately.
A long finger points towards the governor. Anger bursts bright in Lucy's eyes, igniting a flickering fire in the palm of their hand.
Do you not wonder what happened to the first 3 governors of your district?
The Lord of Hell's voice cracks with demented joy as the fire grows and engulfs their whole hand.
I apologize. I humbly beg your forgiveness, O great ruler.
The flame of the Overlord's anger extinguishes as suddenly as it had appeared. Sitting back down on the throne, Lucy's voice becomes insipidly sweet.
Apology accepted. Now, back to what you are here for. I think you should. The only clear course of action is... What did you come here for?
Lucy vaguely remembers that whatever the governor is complaining about is boring and troublesome. They really don't want to listen to the man repeat himself. However, not knowing is also very irritating to the overlord, and by asking they'll be irritated but not ignorant.
About the Kumino-Ito district. They have been practically caught red-handed trifling in my district's affairs.
Practically caught is not the same as being caught, though, is it?
Lucy now remembers why they had gotten bored and started to imagine the governor as a bug.
That's correct, but I know the 6th district is up to something. I can just smell the greed on that succubus. And she's taunting me because she knows that I know, and she...
What a mighty creature. Blah, 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 my souls, blah, 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 the outrage! Why haven't I killed them already?
Once more bored of the governor, Lucy's mind begins to wander. And then finally, something the man says gets through to the ruler's idle
What
mind.
will you do about her transgressions?
What will I do? Do you truly think that was an appropriate thing to ask me? And I'd advise you to think quickly on that.
The governor babbles, caught between apologizing and continuing his whiny rants about the 6th district.
I am begging you, O Great One, to not misunderstand, but something still has to be done about the 6th district.
Misunderstand? Insubordination!
He screams and a ring of fire surrounds the governor. The man is swallowed by the flames, leaving a charred pentagram on the ground and a pile of ash in its wake. He slouches against their throne, pinching the space between their brows.
I know you're there, Fox.
From behind the curtains, a twin-tailed fox emerges with her body already bowed before her lord.
You! What's your name, Fox?
Huh. What is the character's name?
Twin-tailed fox named Balance.
No. How about this? There we go. No, it's the opposite of Lucifer.
Okay.
How about that?
Yeah, sure.
Or there we go. All the letters jumbled up.
That's good.
Initial for that. See? Or how about this? No question mark. What about that symbol? No. Hashtag? No. Okay, fine. Though it isn't right to expect someone like Lucifer to remember someone as insignificant as Kufirel. Sufirel. The fox has dedicated herself to the ruler. Is it honestly too much to expect Lucifer to remember her name? I am Sufirel, royal subject of hell and ward of the state. To you I am devoted, only to you do I bow.
Yes, right. What did you hear, Fox?
After having gone through the trouble of introducing herself, the girl is simply back to Fox again. Any normal person would know when to quit, but Sufirel is a pro-sycophant and knows no shame. I missed some chats from Shelly, she said. I'm working on graphics while watching. Mofo, Lulu just used me as a wall to climb up to the table. Claws dug in and all. My supreme ruler, you who shroud his lower region in your constant disapproval and wrath. This lower region. Our most illustrious keeper of what is wrong with all the cosmos, a leader like...
Enough! If you're going to worm your way further up my anus, I would ask that you make it quick and not so painfully obvious.
Yes, Supreme Ruler of the Netherworld, Lucifer.
Answer my question now, Fox!
Kufirel yips to a stand, and the fur on her tails bristle under the sudden blaze of Lucy's gaze. He came to seek your guidance on the continued issue of the 6th District. I believe its governess has been suspected of...
Yes, the 6th District colonizer. What a pain they've been lately. It's like stepping on Lego and listening to their complaints.
I think the music is too loud. Voice volume could be high, that's fine.
Voice volume is already at max.
Yeah. You shouldn't have to concern yourself with them, my lord. You are far above their lowly minds.
Exactly!
Nailed it.
Why does nobody understand how painful it is caring about such trivial issues?
She groans loudly, the vibrations of their lordly voice knocking vases off their perches. I think I understand, and I am only too happy to...
Yes, I know how far you go to. Perhaps there is some hole you can go crawl into? I meant help. Some hole you can help out of. If these complaints are ever going to stop, I need to send my very best worker to fix the problem.
Me? Of course not her. Lucy doesn't have any workers that aren't simply disposable tools, but they do have ones that they can't seem to get rid of easily. Unfortunately, Sifriel is number 1 on that list. Sufira. Delight runs through the girl, and her tail flips around with anticipation as she hangs on to every word with the kind of dog-like devotion your parents or guardians warn you about. Sadly, Sufiril would jump off a cliff if Lucy told her to. All she needs is a nice high cliff and for the Overlord to say jump for her to prove it.
That.
The most evil one said my name. Yes, oh say it again, please. Her tail flicks back and forth joyfully. She rocks on her feet, waiting for Lucy to say her name again. Sufirel waits as the task is explained to her, but all she wants to hear is her name, so not a single word actually gets through to her. My lord said my name again.
Listening. Respond when I speak to you, Fox.
No, not Fox again. I was so close. Yes, my humblest apologies.
You are to go to that little hellhole of a district and report back anything you find there.
As you command. In what she says, but inside Sufirel is crying at the thought of leaving.
Return when you found something interesting. And Fox, absolute discretion is key.
As you command. Lucy waves her devilish hand and sends Sufirel away with the teleportation incantation. And so begins the story of Hell Government's most trusted worker, employee 5537808, Sufirel the Great Two-Tailed Gumiho.
That solved both of my problems. Now, where's my leg? I feel like forcing someone to river dance on it.
Lucifer, age, ? Occupation, Lord of Hell. Ooh. In life, some are born into positions that completely contradict their character. These poor souls spend their lives fighting their way through all the expectations and challenges such as such a birth will certainly bring them. Gaki is not one of those poor, pitiful souls. If you ask him, Gaki will insist he was born in exactly the right place at the right time. As the last child of a prosperous family, bad times never touched him. Not even the great 100-Year War could tarnish the young man's bright future. This is just his luck. So when a black vortex appeared in his path, Gaki doesn't expect that. For once, he's in the completely wrong place at the worst of times. The great winds of the vortex sweep him up and throw him into the courtyard of the 6th 6th district of Hell's Kuminoito Palace. It is a beautiful palace, but it always has the suggestive smell of corruption, like perfume being spilled on a sweaty sauna. But this shouldn't stop one from appreciating the beauty of Kuminoito's curiously westernized architecture and well-kept gardens. After all, it's only a metaphorical smell, so the actual air around the palace has a crisp freshness and perfume-like allure to it. The literal smell, of course, is that Sufirel takes in as she soaks in her first impressions of the palace. Any metaphorical smells or disturbing gut feelings fail to deter our spunky auditor. Alright, let's get started. Although they very well should, I won't have long to prove to the most vivaciously evil one that I can do this. I just can't think of all the things that could go wrong. But that's exactly what the girl starts to think about as she looks up at the grand building towering before her. I can't think. If she does think, she'll realize she's completely out of her depth. The problems in Kuminoito span years, and one twin-tailed fox can make a lick of a difference. If the fox is lucky, that tiny voice in her head will scream loud enough for her to hear. Sufirel, don't go inside. Listen to that little voice that's telling you to turn back right now and rethink your life choices. Yes. I won't, I can't. Exactly. Let this stop me. Lesai. Of course I can do this. The most precious one doesn't put their trust into just anyone. This is true. Lucifer is very particular about who they entrust important tasks with. Sadly, however, this assignment was unplanned, and Sufirel just happens to be there at the same time it arose. Only I can do this. Sufirel jumps around, punching the air, trying to pump herself up. Sadly, she succeeds. Yeah, I can do this. The girl is very happy to be here for all the wrong reasons, and Gaki, the young fox that was blown here by the vortex, is also happy to see her for reasons.
Well, hello, little girl.
The fall hurt Gaki's head, though. Let's not blame that for what is about to happen. Gaki was probably dropped on his head a number of times before this. This is only a minor injury in comparison, and it's all worth it in the pursuit of a warm bosom to call his temporary home.
Aren't you a delicious new treat?
Sufirel, however, completely lost in her own thoughts, fails to notice that she isn't alone. But I'm not just anyone. I am the chosen one, the great and awesome Sufirel of... She yips, jumping back suddenly because of the lecherous presence behind her. Gaki leers at her, lurking close enough to run his nose along her shoulder and gain her scent. It's not hard, memorizing her peculiar smell. Now there won't be a place in hell where she can hide from him.
That's your name, huh? You don't smell like a demon.
Sufirel shoves him away and holds a hand up, reading an incantation just in case things get messy. Who are you? Finally getting a good look at the boy, Sufirel almost lets her hand drop. He's cuter than she expects. Usually the real creeps have 2 heads and horns, which is decidedly very easy to come by in hell. But this young man, a kitsune, doesn't look very creepy at all. He has a charming smile and blue eyes, so deep that you just want to drown in them. Burning his face off would be such a waste. But sacrifices must be made. Tell me now, who are you and what do you know of my mission?
Mission?
Yes, my mission. Now tell me, what did you hear?
Nothing as enchanting as your name, I'm sure.
Your name now. The fox boy bows low, raising only his head to look at her. In his politeness, he comes eye height with her chest, a perversion only shielded by the gentlemanly air of his action.
You may call me Gaki for now, but we can discuss something more intimate later.
Later? Are you the governor of this ward? I didn't hear anything about a change of leadership. Sufirel lowers her hand quickly, afraid that she's made some mortal error, but Gaki rises to a stand with a scornful laugh.
Not in this or any other lifetime. I prefer life and love to be simple and pleasurable. I wonder which of those you could contribute to.
If you're not the governor, then I have no business talking to you. The man stretches out his arm and blocks her
Are you
path.
absolutely certain I can't help you with your needs?
My needs are not your concern.
To make them my concern, very, very much.
Okay then, my biggest, deepest need right now is for a certain little pest to back off and let me do my
I'll
job.
let him know that when I see him.
Don't you dare pretend that you don't know what I'm saying, you rabies-ridden pincushion.
In the meantime, perhaps there is something.
It's you, you're the pest, and right now you're the only thing standing between me and that door, so...
If you want to leave, you can just walk around me. But you clearly don't, so... Hey!
Sufril walks around him, wondering why she never thought of that herself. She really gave the fox boy too much credit, thinking he would put up a fight. He isn't even... Stop following me.
And who said I was following you? I'm a counselor of this ward, so it's my job to report in here whenever I feel like it.
Sufril walks faster, trying to stay as far ahead of him as possible. Gaki walks faster, trying to match her strides. They both walk faster and faster until they start running aimlessly around the courtyard. Sufril starts to double back towards the entrance just to prove that Gaki is following her. You are following
I
me.
thought you wanted to play tag.
Why would I want to do that? They both run around the courtyard trying desperately to outrun the other, but only managing to exhaust themselves. Time out. Sufril announces, holding her hand to her chest while stopping to catch her breath.
So, I really do make you breathless. Hey.
What's wrong with you?
I'm just a hopeless romantic. If you run, I'll always give chase.
Then let's call it a truce. I won't run and you won't follow.
How about you don't run and I follow?
How about you drop dead?
In hell. Everyone is technically dead already.
Fine, just stay out of my way and don't talk. I'm here on a serious business. Gaki zips his mouth shut and throws away the key, which shows just how good his miming skills aren't. Now, since you're a counselor of this ward, where is the main entrance? You got me all lost, and I must announce myself to the governor. Gaki points to the large door behind Sufril. It's pretty hard to miss, so it's a wonder that she didn't see it. Large doors usually lead to pretty important places, and it's a very large door.
Entrance?
Yes.
See? You'd be lost without me, in more ways than one.
I thought I said no talking. The girl knows how others often see her, and sadly they aren't always completely wrong. But completing this task means she can finally show everyone just how many tails and brain cells she actually has. Determined to waste no more time, Sufril walks away in a huff, leaving Gaki behind to muse on one small fact that the girl has failed to hide.
Blushing? So she likes being humiliated, huh? What an adorable masochist.
Gaki's tails wag happily as she follows behind Sufril, walking into the entrance hall of Kumo Noito Palace. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. My alarm rang already. I'm gonna just save here. Oh, automatically putting me in save mode. Interesting. Affection. Ooh. Affection options. Look at all the...
And that look like Lucifer.
Huh.
It's a dating sim.
Yeah, but why are there are hearts on these already?
They probably know her already.
Interesting. Huh. How do I get out of here? There's no way to get out. What is that? Load? That's settings? What is that?
No, that's next.
No,
it's the down one.
That's load. That's save.
And what about the setting thing? Huh.
Wow, there's no way to get out of this. There's no way to get out of this game. You have to play it. That's weird.
Doing full screen, no.
Okay. Oops. Close window. It's not working. Close window. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. Yeah, so that was the Tales. The Tale Makes the Fox by Rainworks, and it is a visual novel about hell and romance. Well, weird romance, hellish romance.
It's
That's
a
the link.
dating visual novel.
Yeah, so that's the link to their profile. Yeah, I think, yeah, it sounds like you're going to enjoy it. You have the game, so you can try it out. Yeah, so I'm going to take another break, 5-minute break, and I'll come back with the last game. The last game is Three Lesbians in a Barrow by Digital Poppy. I already played one other Digital Poppy game a few sessions ago. That one was the one with Trixie something.
Okay, yeah.
The horror book novel thing. That one. That was interesting. Anyway, I'll take a break now. Okay, I'm back. I'm really running over time today. It's 10:21 already. I'm gonna quickly look at the last game, which is 3 Lesbians in a Barrow. Three Lesbians in a Barrow. Oh, the link. I forgot the link. This is by Digital Poppy. Oop. There it is. I don't know if this one is voiced. I don't remember. Yeah, there's no voice volume here, so I don't think this is voiced. Yeah, I'll need to speak over it. Okay, that's fine. Let's start. It's the same characters as the other game, actually.
Yep, it's probably part of the same series.
Okay, Nikita. I'm still not entirely convinced you didn't only let me join your archaeology studies group because I have those nice plastic binders professors like Tabby. Nikita, we chose to have you in our group because we thought you'd be a valuable asset to the team. You're a very talented essay writer. Trixie, I thought you just took pity on her because no one else would go with her. No. We voted, remember? We both chose her. I mean, I vetoed. You abstained, Trixie. That's not the same as a veto. Nikita got 100% of the cast votes. I don't need your sympathy. I work better alone. There's less dead weight. Well, you're with us now, Nikita, so let's try to work together. Sure. You two can do whatever it is you do when you work, and I'll put my ear plugs in and do the important stuff. Oh, come on, Nikita, you might enjoy our company if you just try. I had quite enough of Trixie's company already during the summer. And as for you, your competition. Are you really still upset about me competing with you for student presidency? Upset? Me? Never. Anyway, we should get to work. We need to write up our observations about this Barrow as soon as possible, or we'll miss the last bus home. This is so pointless. Can't we just look this place up in the Barrow book or on the internet like normal people? It's called the Barrow Census, Trixie, and if you've been paying attention, you'd know full well half of Blue Ridge Downs barrows are basically recorded only so far as they exist. It is our duty as archaeologists. We aren't archaeologists. It's our duty as students studying, among other things, archaeology, to help document this place, to get some vital experience in runic translating, observation, and record-keeping skills. Yep, and we should probably get on with that instead of arguing, right, girls? Quite. Do you two think it's weird that the Barrow Census lists this place as sealed? It looks pretty open to me. A misprint, most likely. Or a grave robber. Or a ghost. No. A misprint. I did account for this when I filed my health and safety analysis, so legally we are allowed to go inside. In the pursuit of knowledge, safety is never guaranteed. We're meant to fill those forms out. Trixie Glimmersmith, if we lose marks because you neglected to fill out your paperwork, I will fucking end you. Be nice, Nikita, it'll be fine. The carvings next to the door look like a good place to start our report. They might tell us who was buried here. Yeah, good thinking, Tabby. The writing looks like South Anglican Runic, right? Trixie, please, that is definitely South Anglican Runic. Tabitha, you did the required reading, Bessie Flopsmore's South Anglican Runic for Clever Girls 1971 edition by Bessie Flopsmore, right? Haha, well, oh well, not yet. I've been really busy this week with my sheep rescue charity work. Sorry, Nikita. I have it with me though, don't worry. You didn't read it before coming here? You two are useless. Hey, calm down, Nikita. Jeez, look how short it is. It won't take long. I'll start reading it now and I can work out what these runes say. Tabby can investigate various objects. Huh. This is different from a regular visual novel. The actions left 3.
It's like a mix between visual novel and point.
Yeah. That's interesting. Oh, you're reading. Part 1, an introduction and basic translation guide. Part 2, punctuation and modifiers of meaning. Part 3, translations in the field, some tips. Part 1, introduction and basic translation guide. That seemed to cover most of the basic stuff, identifying simple runes, the alphabet system, word guides. I should be able to translate those runes now. This looks like it might be a warning of some kind. Let's take a look at this first. This looks like it could be a name of the Barrow, but someone's carved over it. This tablet looks like it names the Barrow, but someone seems to have vandalized the original text. This place was originally called Fogsbane Barrow. The second set of runes says Rot Prison. It looks like it was carved into the stone much later than the first name. Strange. Very odd. What do you think of this? That's pretty weird. It really doesn't look like I really don't like the sound of Rot Prison. That sounds like your bedroom, Trixie. I've thought you might feel at home. Play nice, you two. Okay, the third one. Take heed, those who enter this place. Do not enter this place to begin with, for inside lurks an evil unmatched. The gloom of this barrow is the domain of rot, of decay, of malevolence. Leave it be, for if left undisturbed, the world remains safe. Cacao, remain outside, for inside this tomb is death. Beware ever rot time dust. Beware the immortal warlock. Yikes. That's a nope from me. Shut the fuck up, Trixie. It's a warning. That's pretty spooky. A lot of these old barrows have them, though. They're just to scare off grave robbers and stuff. You two don't need to act so scared. They just wrote those to scare off people off. Yes. Let's get a move on. We don't have all day. Okay, so we just click on this.
I suppose.
Click the continue button to finish investigating. Oh. Well then. This place is freaking creepy. No, it isn't. It's all made up. We should explore the interior. It would make for some excellent writing. We'd be getting first on the report, sure. I agree. It's probably full of really interesting stuff as long as we don't catch corpse rot from any of the skeletons. Trixie, promise not to touch any skeletons, okay? Why are you singling me out for that? Anyway, I'm not sure I want to go inside the fucked up rot tomb. It sounds like a good way to get cursed or, I don't know, trapped inside when the ceiling falls in. I spend a lot of time in barrows during the witching season. They can be surprisingly sturdy. That's weird. You're weird, Tabitha. Oh, come on, be brave, Tixie. I'll be there with you, and so will Nikita. Only if I don't have to hold her hand. I really don't want you to hold my hand, Nikita. Good, I don't want to hold your hand either, Smith. Let's take a look inside. Wow, it's so musty in here. Ugh. It looks like this is the entrance chamber. I mean, obviously. That must be the burial chamber through that doorway. Looks like they used this room to record the life of whoever lived here. Although, look at this. The original runes seem to have been scraped away and replaced with new ones. The second row too, though that looks like totally different handwriting to the top row. This place seems to have had a strange story, huh? Why would someone write over the original runes? Did they make a mistake originally? I suppose erasers don't really work when you're carving into stone. Maybe they recycled the barrow, put someone new in it, and had to rewrite everything. And the second row? I'm not sure. This is very strange. Hey, check this out. It's like a special thing. That looks like a bird weaving to me, Trixie. It's in surprisingly good condition too. They must have preserved it in special oils or something. Wow. Shame none of us know how to read it. We spent months learning to read bird weavings last year, Trixie. Professor Petal's class, remember? I don't think I turned up to any of those. I continue to be impressed with your ability to stop... with my ability to stop you being thrown out of an university, Trixie. Though I must admit that even with my generous abilities, it can be a strain. Hey, I'm not making you bail me out. You just know, if I wasn't there, you'd have no one to be a bitch to. Be nice, Trixie. I'm sure Nikita values your company as a friend.
She blushed.
As for the weaving, I can read it easily enough, even if it's a little worse for wear. This weaving speaks of an arcane ritual that shall seal this rot prison. It was weaved in haste to protect us from the evil ever-wrought time dust. Pray that it shall not be needed again, but if by some tragedy it is, you must follow these instructions before it is too late. Speak these sounds and words. Bree, scree, verb, be sealed away, ye monster. Be sealed away, ye rot. Commanded you are by those who fought you. Indecipherable. They who first weave this ritual. Indecipherable. First united as three. Delion Death Die, he who first forced you into retreat. Brewood, Cracked Antler, and Indecipherable united in their duty to rid the world of your evil. Indecipherable, Dust, and Indecipherable, the elements who have defied. Bree, caw, scree, verb, caw. Flap your wings thrice and the ritual is complete. Good work, my friend, caw. What? It's a spell. You're right, Trixie, it sounds like a spell. Half of a spell, you mean. Some of it was missing. I mean, sure, but it was pretty interesting. It's pretty spooky, though. It was about sealing something evil away. Rot, I guess, whatever that means. That must be why this is the rot prison. Yeah, scary. You two are cowards. I'm going to look around the burial chamber. Don't kiss any dead skeletons. This isn't your weird smut, Trixie. No one actually kisses skeletons. Have fun. Look at all these runes there. They're going to have our work cut out reading them. Especially since they seem kind of damaged and messy. A lot of it seems to be regional dialect too, which is a pain. But nothing too difficult. Maybe it'll tell us what all this stuff about sealing away evil was about. Can't help but notice there aren't any skeletons back here in the Barrow where skeletons are supposed to be kept. Be kept? That's kind of objectifying, Nikita. These are dead people you're talking about. Emphasis on the dead, Trixie. Skeletons are objects and these ones are missing. I guess this place did get a grave robbed at some point. Scary, I hope they don't come back. To the empty pit in the ground? I doubt it, Tabitha. Maybe the dead skeletons went for a walk. The vengeful dead. Trixie finished fiddling with something on the ground. As she marched back over to me, she clumsily kicked a small rock, which spun gracefully through the air and struck the large stone door of the barrow. The large, apparently incredibly precariously held open stone door of the barrow.
Of course.
What's that? The door, yes. Okay, that's not good. Did Trixie seriously just seal us in here with her clumsiness? What? Fuck off, Nikita. There's no way that rock did that. It was just a coincidence. Maybe the wind blew the rock over? The wind, Trixie, blowing a stone door closed? Maybe, like if it... friction? No? No, Trixie, I'm pretty sure it was just your fault. Tabitha, allow me. Trixie, that was 100% your fuck up, as usual. Be nice. Hey, maybe it's not Trixie's fault. Maybe it was magic. My psycho crystal suddenly feels strange, like a bad day. I hope this isn't anything magical. I've had more than enough magical experiences with you recently, Nikita. You've had magical experiences with Nikita? No. No, sorry, I think I misspoke. Oh, okay. Look, Nikita, could we have a quiet word about summer? Trixie started to march over to the burial chamber where Nikita was still poking about. No. You don't think we should get our story straight? As she stormed towards the apparently skeletonless burial chamber, Trixie clumsily kicked a small rock, which spun gracefully through the air and struck a ceiling of the barrow, just in front of the doorway separating us from Nikita. The apparently incredibly poor constructed ceiling of the barrow. Oops. Trixie Glimmersmith. Ah! We couldn't see her through all the rubble, but the sound of Nikita's foot stomping on the hard ground echoed through the barrow. Stomp, stomp, stomp. It wasn't hard to guess that she was imagining Trixie's face under her boots. Oh great, I'm in for it now. Are you fucking serious, Trixie? You complete cretin? Gah. Why does everything you do fuck me over? First that book, then kicking that rock, now this? So this is a sequel of the first one. Kicking another rock. You better find a way to get me out of here so I can break your fucking legs. Jeez, I'm sorry, Nikita. It's not like I meant to trap you in there. Though I do kind of like that I did. Girls, can you two not fight, please? This incredibly contrived situation is serious. Oh, thanks for piping up, little Miss Sanctimonious. Are you okay in there, Nikita? Can you see anything? No, not really. It's dark. Crap. There's a lot of rubble over... whoever built this was really depending on the ceiling not getting hit by small pebbles. Look, don't worry, Nikita. I'll get out of here and get some help. Trixie, come help me get this door open. Tabby, my upper body strength is pretty poor. I'm not sure I'll be much use. Just try. Trixie was right. She wasn't much help. The large rock door would not budge more than an inch. It's too heavy. We nearly got it moving. We might just need a little more strength. If only Nikita hadn't accidentally gotten trapped behind that debris. Excuse me? So we're trapped in here until you dig me out? Well, fortunately for all of us, I wrote that this was a possibility when I filled out the off-site health and safety form, so we shan't be losing any marks. Nice one, thinking ahead as usual, Nikita. That really helps us out, Nikita, thanks. No problem. We're going to have to dig Nikita out when we can use some teamwork to get the door open. Dig? Like lift rocks? With my hands? Tabby, I struggle to pick up my backpack, and how am I supposed to pick up rocks? You saw how weak I was when I pushed the door. I mean, I'll help too, Trixie. We can take turns. It probably won't take too long. We can be out of here in maybe a day or two. Day or two? 2 days? Tabitha, I'm not rotting away in this pit for almost a week because of Trixie. You two better get digging. I am so glad I brought a copy of the dictionary with me. Nikita, 2 days is almost a week. 2 days is not almost a week. Don't try to guilt Trixie. Sealing you in a tomb was an accident. A happy one. Look, you can dig from your side, Nikita. It won't take too long to get you out of there. Me? I didn't make this mess. I'm not digging Trixie out of her own holes anymore, in this case, literally. Nikita, come on. You're seriously going to extend the amount of time you have to sit in the dark by yourself just to spite Trixie? Yes. This is her mess. She has to clean it up like a good girl. I cleaned up your mess during the summer, Nikita. No. Besides, one of the rocks hit me when I fell. My hands hurt. Slightly. Fine, Nikita. I kinda wish I read that note paper I found before I got trapped in here. Just in case it's a warning telling us to leave immediately, you know? Not that the big warning literally carved in stone outside stopped us. Note paper? Oh, I forgot to mention it, huh? Hey, look, I was going to, but we were kind of preoccupied with the whole catastrophic cave-in situation. I didn't think a random piece of paper was that important. Look, you can read it now, Tabby, if you want. I'll have a peek. Blood rot? How? That was the question that led me to this place. How? I was so young. What cruel force had deemed this fate necessary? What evil had put this decay into my veins? Blood rot, a disease so rare it took the doctors almost a year to diagnose. A disease that isn't found outside of the few unsubmerged serpent ruins remaining atop the rocky islands. Blood rot? How? It wasn't long before I snapped out of my pointless depression. How I had gotten this disease was irrelevant. How I would escape it was the only question worth my time now. I had so much still to give to this world, my academic work couldn't be left incomplete. There are few enough studying the old legends and the occult without me disappearing from the field. Though there were moments where I wondered if it was perhaps these very studies that had led to my damnation, moments that were thankfully few and often quickly forgotten. And my life so cruelly cut short, I had not yet glimpsed the azure seas of Hawaii, the sunken temples of America, the crater of ash fumes and lava at the heart of Siberia. There had to be some way to avoid this fate. I recalled a tale, an ancient legend, an immortal warlock in the mists. I needed to understand, could such a figure be real? Desperately I searched for information, but there was none. No traditional history book spoke of him as much as as more than a childish legend. But there was one person who could help, a servant of the moon, so the story said. Only they could get me the information I needed in one of their many forbidden tomes. It took some time to meet this figure. I remained skeptical of their claims of lunar servitude, but they were helpful nonetheless. The book they delivered to me was a horrific thing. I refused to read most of it, burning the pages until only those that seemed relevant to me were left. Everett Time Dust was real. I was sure of this fact by the time my reading was complete. He was alive, yet sealed forever in the Barrow he had made his home. The Barrow's location, however, was unclear. The day I finished my reading, I coughed up black blood, ruining the few pages I still held on to. My time was running out. This paper looks pretty new. It can't have been left here more than a month or two. Scary. Goodness, I don't like where this is going. Yikes, it's kind of sad though. It must be really scary finding out you're sick. Seriously, I can't imagine what I'd do in that situation. They spoke about releasing an immortal warlock from this place, the one the warning spoke about. You don't think they succeeded, do you? I hope not. Goodness, maybe that spell could be just what we need right now. If only it wasn't so badly damaged. You two are such babies. They probably just heard the same silly story the warning was about. It's all nonsense. I wish I could be as certain about that as you are, Nikita. This looks like the only page. Unless... Is there any more of this in there with you, Nikita? It sounds important. There might be. There might be? There are 2 more pages in here. I'm not giving you to them, though. Not until you get me out of here. What? Look, no offense, you two, but you'll be more motivated to get me out of here if there's a treat in it for you. Think of it like teaching a pet to behave. You're such a jerk, Nikita. Yeah, besides, we're digging you out anyway. We need you to help us get the door open, remember? Fine, I'll let you have the next page if you two behave and get rid of most of these rebels. This is so demeaning. You like it really, Smith. I know your type. I don't like this. I just feel like this whole situation is unnatural. You heard what that diary page said, right? I can't shake the feeling that there must be something more going on here. And these runes, the spell, if this place really is cursed or whatever, they might be the only way we're getting out of here alive. She might have a point. It isn't that unbelievable, Nikita, you remember, you know? No, you don't. I'm not sitting here dying from a lack of oxygen while you two read silly wall stories and silly bird spells. Get digging. Nikita, don't you think maybe this is some kind of situation where silly wall stories are reality? No. Dig me out. Fine. I'll dig you out, geez. Me and Trixie can take it in turns. I'll go first, that way I can just get it over with. And because I can just move all the small rocks around the edge. Sure thing, I'll take a look around the room. Oh wow, lots of books here and notes. Awesome. Lots to read. Interesting. Well, I'm gonna stop here because my alarm rang. But I'm gonna save here and come and do this later. Yeah, so that was the sequel of the last game I played by Digital Poppy. The last game was, I forgot the name. What was the name of that game? The Testimony of Trixie Glimmer Smith. That's what it was. And this one is 3 Lesbians in a Barrow. And they're both by Digital Poppy. Yeah, this game is hilarious. You should play both of them. Yeah, so that was the last game. So today was our 44th session going through the bundle for racial justice and equality from Ichio. So the 3 games we looked at today are Astrologaster by Niamyam, The Tail Makes the Fox by Ryan Works, and 3 Lesbians in a Barrow by Digital Poppy. And I'm going to paste the links to all of them so you can check them out. There we go, all 3. The art on this page is done by Rifna, and these are the links to their profiles if you want to check those out as well. That's not it. Sometimes the copy doesn't work. There we go. Okay, so that was our 44th session. So next, my next session is going to be either Wednesday or Friday. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to bring back 3 more games from the bundle for racial justice and equality. And then we're going to... Yeah, that's going to be fun. I don't know which games they are, but like I'll find out tomorrow. Yeah, so until then... everyone have a good night. I don't think I have enough viewers to do a raid right now, but if I did, I would have done that. Okay, so that ends our 44th session. I'll see you next time. Bye.